And hello, Mary, and how are you doing?
Very well, thank you.
Would you care to take a seat in your own seat? Well, this is Tam Campbell's seat, we know that.
I will do indeed.
Jolly good. Mary Rand is a high priestess from Alexander's line, going back a long, long way in the original coven. So she's something of a phenomenon. So we were at the Children of Artemis International event yesterday.
Yes, it was the last international event for the COA, Children of Artemis.
Okay, and who's the actual organizer of this COA, or is it a committee, or what is it?
The organizer is Dave Mercer, and he has quite a large staff to help out when an event like this happens.
And did you enjoy the event, is the question?
Oh, yes.
And if so, why?
Well, it was sad because it was the last one, and chance to meet so many different people in different walks of the craft. It was a bit, like I say, it was a bit sad, but it was a happy event because it was such a vibrant feel.
Oh, there was an awful lot of talks yesterday. Which ones did you like the best, apart from your own, because you gave an actual history of Alexandrian stuff, which was well worth listening to.
The talks were all various and varied items of all sorts of the craft, all lines of the craft, and magic and folklore. Things that you would never actually delve into, and you would like to, all of a sudden would like to know about.
So you found it a cool day anyway, it was grand. I noticed I had to take you down off the floor dancing because you were dancing too much in the night. So how are the legs today?
The legs are fine.
That's grand. We're flying it. So as the question goes, since you were an Alexandrian high priest, you actually mentioned the difference between Alexandrian and Gardnerian the other day. Could you actually reiterate for people on video who didn't get the chance to go to the event? There was about 500 to 1,000 people at that event, was there?
It was about that, yes.
It was about that. I wasn't actually counting numbers. I was too busy going from one lecture into the other. It was hours and hours of lectures. They had Professor Ron Hutton there.
Yes, and they had Christina Harrington.
They had an Angelina Puca, who was a lecturer from Italy on Italian witchcraft.
Yes, and they had Moira Hodgkinson, who is very well known in the craft circles.
Is that the secret witchcraft video? History of the witchcraft video?
No, that was Carrie Kirkpatrick.
Oh, let's not forget Galatea, or I'll get shot like at some stage.
Yes.
Galatea was another of the actual Alexandrian high priestess, but she lived in-house.
Yes.
So she's really someone to go off and actually interview, because she would know, well, how much she would actually tell you, because they know to well there to keep silent. There's a lot of you keeping silent, and I'm here actually trying to get as much out of you as possible. That's my way.
Yes, she lived for a time in Covenstead. Not for only for about 18 months or so, and then she had been initiated, and once she moved on, as was her wont, to place of her own.
As it goes, people always grow and move, don't they? Still getting over the question now, because I asked you a question and you're going like, all bloody witches, you have to keep coming back to them because they try and escape with a glamour. No, you actually talked about the difference between the Gardnerians and the Alexandrians. Come on now, out with it.
Well, the difference between Alexandrians and Gardnerians is they look at things from a different perspective, but it is exactly the same teaching.
Oh, yeah. Oh, we got you.
Um,
Something about perils as well.
oh,
Huh?
yes, but at the time it was late 60s, early 70s, and there was still a lot of hoi polloi being activated. I thought just simply my opinion, but my opinion, like my anus, is just entitled to be heard. And I thought that the Gardnerians were twinset and pearls, and were off the Raj area.
So they had money.
But the Alexandrians were work boots and dungarees, and they had a different way.
So they were the working classes, basically.
Oh,
So it
they
was a
were the
two-tiered
working
system.
class. Oh, yes.
Would you consider Alexander's an Alexandrian or a Gardnerian?
Well, being as he was initiated Gardnerian,
Oh, there's a bit of contention about that, like, but we're going now. We're going.
as far I mean, I wasn't there, so I can't be honest. But
It was the same material worked on both sides.
absolutely,
At the start.
at the start, it was the same. There was no difference between their producing of a ritual or the wording. Perhaps education-wise, it might be a bit more flamboyant in the Gardnerians.
I would have considered it the other way around, being honest. But different. The thing is, different priestesses had different flavours.
Oh, they
Had
do.
different high priests. So was it actually equality-wise? Did in the Alexandrian, did the high priest and the high priest, did they actually have equality, or was it actually one was higher than the other?
Absolutely no higher than the other, except for the founders, who were obviously a wee bit higher than anybody else.
It's always the way, and they actually get into a niche, like, that's my job, like, I'm boss.
Sorry.
So, as a question, Joe, you told me that yesterday, or you told everyone that was at the talk, and I think it was quite a full talk. I think there was 100 people at the actual event where you were actually just giving a guesstimate on the actual amount of chairs, and there probably maybe even a bit more. You were actually saying about your training.
Oh, yes.
So you actually said that there was a Monday night, a Tuesday night, a Wednesday night, a Thursday night.
Actually, yes. Monday to Thursday were training and lectures. No workshops. Just simply lectures and written work. The lectures, the actual work came within the rituals on Saturday.
Okay. And the actual writing out of the Book of the Shadows, you actually mentioned that yesterday, how long you got to write it out and the rest of it.
You were advised to be within the Covenstead for no later than 7:30. The door was then closed, and everyone who came in was entitled to copy for 10 minutes from the Book of Shadows.
Roughly 2 pages, maybe.
Depending on how quickly you wrote.
Okay. So, and it had to be handwritten.
Handwritten, all the bad spelling, the commas, the dots, the question marks.
Had to stay the same.
Absolutely had to stay the same.
Okay.
Nothing corrected and nothing left out.
And the second lot out after that, there was an actual what you said, basically you wrote out your own book of shadows with corrected spelling.
The copy
Separate.
Separate. You had your own separate book of shadows. When I asked Alex, when I'd finished writing my book of shadows, and I said, "Is that it?" Because it was such a small book. He said, "Yes, that is the bones. You put the meat on yourself, and that is where your book of shadows comes in, your personal book of shadows."
Now, casting a circle in those times now, because there's a whole lot of candles and crystals and crap attached to Wicca and paganism since now. And actually, just as a simple thing, like, was there specific candle colours for each corner?
No.
No, I guess there wasn't actually coloured candles back then. There was only a red candle at Christmas. If you could get hold of a couple of them, you gathered it. I remember there was no black candles anyway. So that was basically one of the questions. And the other thing is the actual pentagrams for calling in the quarters.
The pentagrams for calling in the quarters were angelic.
And are they the standard ones which people use today? Because I remember it was either Farrar's book, What Witches Do, or June John's book, I think it was What Witches Do, had actually the pentagrams basically down it, which are kind of based on the Golden Dawn style of the earth,
Yes.
fire, air, water, and spirits pentagrams.
Exactly, yes.
Oh, we're probably breaking out here talking about all this stuff openly, but I'm not expecting to be around for too long, like, so they can't catch me for very much.
Not really, because although you took an oath not to reveal what went on in the Covenstead or the art magic as it was dictated, so many of the younger initiates who obtained their second and third degree left the Covenstead and wrote books, and there was no holds barred. They wrote everything they could think of and remember.
So that's the Farrars, basically, was one group that went out and actually wrote. There was a number of others, like, but the Farrars are the more famous.
They were the very first ones.
I think their Witch's Way was probably the best out of their book line for me.
Yeah.
Very readable and actually entertaining. It's like Doreen Valiente's Natural Magic and Witchcraft for Tomorrow. They were two good sets of books.
Yeah.
Now, so is there any major differences from when you did circles back then to the actual way they do them now 50 years later?
Not the way I do them. I don't normally guessed. It was an Alexandrian thing, no coven hopping. So you actually, unless you had the high priest and the high priestesses, okay, you stayed within the Covenstead until you left, either through rising up the ladder to second and third degree and starting your own Covenstead, or whether you moved and out of the area, and Alex and Maxine would contact someone else in an Alexandrian tradition for you to approach, and if they accepted you, that was up to the accepting high priest and high priestess.
And what way the contention between, we'll actually use that nice big term, like contention between the Gardnerians and the Alexandrians back then?
Well, we weren't actually called Alexandrians back then, not until the book, what the
June John's one, King of the Witches.
King of the Witches was written and things. We were simply, and also even us on the older sect of the Covenstead, it was always the London Coven, and we were witches. We weren't Alexandrians.
But would you ever have mingled with any of the Gardnerians at any stage at that time period?
No, it was not acceptable on either side for
Okay.
to mix.
And the there wasn't that many of you to an extent at the time.
Not there was sometimes the Covenstead could be at least up to 30 people in a very small area. Some attained their first degree, but through circumstances and work,
Life caught up with them.
left and found another Covenstead, or decided that craft really wasn't for them because it didn't have sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
That's a pity. That's a terrible pity. So now, my friend Tam Campbell, your friend,
Yes.
and Tam died last year, so basically we're on a year from him now. But you were good friends with Tam, who was a Gardnerian.
Yes, he was. He was accepted as a Gardnerian, but Tom never really divulged why he was looking for a Covenstead. And he landed up with Galatea and her high priest for some time, and that's where I first met Tom. And that would be late 70s.
Tam had a number of covens split off from him over the years. I'm sure you've had actually as much, if not more, split off from you. You're cantankerous people, let's be honest, like you're just trouble.
Yes, but
just life gets on and people move, and when you actually get trained, you want to run your own thing. That's basically what it is. People have to grow and move.
absolutely, but sometimes they wanted more of the magic side, the higher magic side of the craft than simple, normal, everyday magic.
And what is everyday magic? Because that's actually a big subject which is written loads of books about, but I still haven't actually found the one that turns lead into gold crack, like. For all these grimoires that are out there, like, and the rest of it, you know.
No, that's they. It just doesn't happen.
I figured that all right at this stage. I'm kind of, I've lost my naivety.
They at that time there was so many people decrying craft, the press and everyone else. Not forgetting the two major religions in Britain. Making up lots of stories that just weren't true and still are not true.
Yeah, there was the actual false satanic claims in the 1990s down in Wales, and there was another one on the Orkney Islands, and they took kids away from people there.
Yes.
And they actually subjected the families to interrogation and the rest of it. It was all false memory syndrome material, basically. The children were asked in certain ways by people who weren't trained in asking questions. And the children who wanted to actually comply with the adult and talk and give them what they wanted, told them what they wanted, basically, to hear, the fantasy.
It was the same things that went on in Salem.
Yeah, not too much of a difference, yeah.
Not too much of a difference and overzealous curates, priests, and social workers.
Okay, so just as a to cut short, like for the social workers that may be looking at this, or the overzealous priest, or the rest of it, you're all Satanist, of course. Like, and you kiss the devil's arse and the rest of it, yeah.
I've kissed many devils' arses.
Don't be like that. I know you, you liar, you liar. You don't believe in the devil.
Actually, I don't.
No, I figured you didn't. All right, like it's just
It's like day and night. Without order, there is no chaos.
okay.
Without chaos, there is no order.
So are the god and goddess equal in your viewpoint?
Yes.
So you're sure not one's not a bit stronger than the other, like
Depends on how out they got out of bed.
Oh, I figured that's most like more. Yeah, that sounds about right. So, if you were to say anything to a budding pagan or a witch, someone that, because you've got 50 years of experience in this crack, I mean, like, what is the advice that you would give to pagans and Wiccans? Oh, actually, I have to bring you back, first of all, to the Doreen Valiente event years ago, where Maxine Sanders and Janet were having a little bit of a row on the actual stage, um, about the history of Doreen Valiente. Um, I was actually outside with you and Tam at the event, and you basically said that there are actually some witches that you wouldn't cross the street
Absolutely.
to piss on if they were on fire.
That is quite true.
So are you still of this kind of attitude, like?
Yes.
And why would that be now?
Because I don't like deceitful people.
Or bullies?
Oh, or bullies.
Oh, I figured that had to be thrown in there now.
I value the underdog.
That's grand. That's grand that you're doing that now. So, but what advice would you give to the actual poor initiate coming up now, or the wannabe initiate?
Wow. Wannabe initiates nowadays, they've had so many, watched so many episodes of Buffy and all.
I enjoyed
and all
Buffy.
The
Buffy was good though, yeah.
They have a
Fantasy approach.
extraordinary, fanciful idea of what the craft, of what they're looking for in the craft, and instead of looking at the simplicity of the nature of the craft and what goes with it, and the spiritual side.
Okay, give me a bit more now on that now, because that's kind of talking about it and then walking away from it otherwise. Come on.
Well, if you're going into the craft and you want to choose a name of, you want to follow a deity, you have to make sure that you know what you're following. To dedicate what you're going to do, if you want to follow a deity and ask for help through your magic, through everything else, through your life, with help from them, there's no good only asking them once in a blue moon. What about saying thank you to them too?
I always liked Terry Pratchett's piece. I can't remember which one, might have been Witches Abroad, but it's McGrath as the apprentice. She's the maid. You've got Nanny Og, who's the actual. You remind me a bit of her, like, being honest. Whether retrobit.
Absolutely.
There we go. And you had Granny Weatherwax in the centre. But McGrath turns around and she says, Granny Weatherwax is not like a real witch. I mean, she uses a bread knife for casting the circle, like, and she doesn't use wands and incense, or the spirits are moving here and here already. Hello, Tam.
Sit down.
This basically, anyway, McGrath says that she's not like a real witch. I mean, she doesn't cast the circles and she doesn't follow the seasons and the wheel of the year and the rest of it. She just does her own thing, like, and that's basically it. Yeah, Nanny Og, yeah. And when someone is sick, she goes to their house and she tidies up the house and she cooks for them and she actually does the washing and the rest of it. Yeah, that's not like a real witch at all. And then she walks away and you can hear McGrath's in your mind, you can hear her cogs of her brain. What just happened? Zen, kind of a Zen approach, a practical approach that you actually, it's not about what you get out of it, it's what you do. You're always happier when you do something.
That is correct. And if you're going to do something, if you want something in return, and you're going to do something for the gods or the deities that you have acknowledged and want to spend your time and your magical work with, then it's not just once a year. It's daily. You walk with your deities, you talk with your deities. They are part of you and you are part of them.
But it also says that you actually have to be, you must walk the spiritual path with practical feet, as one of my friends says. In other words, you got to go out to work, you've got to feed the kids, you have to cook them and look after your family first and the rest of it before you go off having your spiritual side.
But as you're cooking for your children or your family, if you have no children, you have a partner, the offering that you're cooking rises with the steam and the heat. You make an offering to your deity, you are still doing two things at the once.
No, that's fine. I'm grand. I'm just actually saying, don't forget your family. Like, we're on this earth for a short time, not a long time. Might as well make the best of it. So enjoying yourself throughout life as much as possible, but obviously getting hammered along the way, which is what actually happens to all of us.
Oh yeah.
So where's the advice so for these old peasants, like, that we're talking to here, like you've been that great high priestess, like kind of like,
No,
the ancient lineage and all this crack, blah 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 blah.
No, I'm just an ordinary person that has a way of looking at my life. I would expect them not to go into the craft thinking, what's in it for me? But what can I do for everyone else?
Well, a bit for me too, like.
If you do something good, it is the law that it returns to you. If you do a good deed for someone, you find along the way when you need one, that good deed will come back and thank you.
Okay, now since we've got very little time left, and I want to actually ask another little question of you, because you know me, like I'm always asking questions anyway, like, Right. How would you advise them, a non-initiate pagan, would you advise them to get involved or get in contact with Children of Artemis or PFI or the rest of it to find an actual group or a coven?
Well, seek out. There are
lots of groups out there.
There's a lot of books you can read to find out which section you want to either be involved in.
And finding groups.
Yeah, there are pagan things now online that you can poke into and find out if they're of the ilk that you want. But preferably, I would point them to the COA.
Children of Artemis.
Children of Artemis.
Which have their own website.
Yes.
And there's also PFI, we'll throw that in there, like, conflict there in the past, like, okay, all right, I'll move away from that subject.
Yeah. I wouldn't.
Okay, no. Keep it clean.
They're one of the ones I would.
They're not your favourite.
They are not my.
That's
favourite.
fine. Nobody can be. you can't love everyone, and everyone can't love you. That's fine.
That's true.
Now, here's the next stage for you. So, you say moots. Have a look around for moots, pagan moots.
Absolutely. Go to as many of them as you can, and don't accept the first offer.
It's not so much don't accept the first offer, just I'd actually think more on the line of if you find people you're comfortable with, that's fine.
Yes.
But don't be with arseholes,
No.
because it actually just ruins your day and your night.
Well, people can expand on their abilities.
Oh, by the way, since it was a small community when you started out, like you said, 30 in your coven, and there was actually a couple of covens actually outside that which you would know of.
Yeah.
What do you think of these big American covens now, or big American meets for Alexandrians and Gardnerians? Come on now, I want a serious answer.
Well, I don't like the Americans, full stop.
Is that because you're British?
I'm not British, I'm Scottish.
I was waiting for that. I was just checking to see Alzheimer's hadn't kicked in.
I mean, let's face it, the thing that they all stand up for and put the hand on the breast and swear to America, that came from Scotland.
Fair play to you.
That comes from the laws in Scotland, and written for all to see in the town of Arbroath on the east coast of Scotland.
There you go, have things covered. Now, this is going to be very fun for the Americans when they read this, of course. So, which lectures did you enjoy the other day? The ones that you finally got to, because you were actually talked to death inside there by people going up to worship Mary Rand, High Priestess of the Artemis, of Children of Artemis, and the rest of it, like blah blah blah.
I would have liked to have approached the lecture of Ron Hutton, Moira Hodgkinson,
Galatea.
Galatea.
No, don't forget Galatea.
And Galatea, who is all my friend and my sister in the craft, as are all craft initiates, my brothers and sisters, even although they're Gardnerian.
Isn't it a pity that Dave didn't give a talk yesterday? Dave Mercer. He should have given a talk.
Yes.
But the thing is, that was the dry part of it, in the sense, and the learning part of it, but there was a great amount of music afterwards.
Oh, yes.
So there was Dov the Bard was the finish.
Absolutely, yes.
And then there was a number of bands in between.
Yes.
But I'm not actually up on the pop scene, let's be honest, I'm old.
No, Incubus and Succubus normally appear, as do the Dolmen, the Children of Artemis. But, and there was fantastic drumming. I missed some of it because I was looking for someone who I had misplaced.
Look, I can't be everywhere. Well, I was everywhere, that was the problem. But the people that I was with and the people that we met, they really enjoyed you, and they enjoyed the event. It was a great event. It was a pity to see that the international event is over, but the actual British event will continue, but it'll be on a much smaller scale, more intimate.
Yes.
Because the bigger these places, the more planning and work involved, and it becomes a huge thing the bigger they get. When you get to 1,000 people, it's a lot of work.
It is, and not only that.
A lot of stress.
It's much stress for the purveyors of these events. It's also coming exceedingly expensive.
The insurance is a killer.
Everything, and then you have to, and then the prices go up, and you've only got to look at a rock concert or any concert going on anywhere. Well, we don't have touts, fortunately, in the craft, buying all the tickets up and selling them.
Twice the price kind of job.
Yes, twice and 3 times the price, just for their own enjoyment.
That's it. Well, Tam went to every one of those events apart from the last one, obviously. And the one last year, I would say, because
He went to the one in Fairfield Hall, because I was talking then as well. The last one in Fairfield Hall.
he went to the last one there.
He was supposed to talk, but he was not feeling very well. He was supposed to come to my talk, and he really wasn't feeling very well.
If he could have got up, he would have gone. I know Tam.
Yes.
Because Tam was like your little brother.
Heaven and high water.
Yes, he was like your little brother.
He was indeed.
That's basically it. Now, I think we'll call it a night or a day, because the sunlight's going to go down soon, like in the vampires come out and all the rest of it, because we're going to go back to watching Buffy, you know, the usual.
Oh, I liked Sabrina. She was funny.
That's basically where you go, like. So, now, so any last words? No blessed bees or a blessing or anything, you know?
Yes, I could say to everyone, think of what you can gain from your dedication to your deities. Keep well, and may your gods and goddesses always be with you.
Jolly good. So we'll call it a day. Take it easy, Petal. See you soon.